Cheers.
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 Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the Cheers Comics podcast, where two, sometimes three of your best friends are going to tip back a cold one and talk about their favorite comics of the week, including characters, creators, news, and anything else underneath our illustrated sun. If you like that, then please grab a beverage and join me, one of your hosts, Justin Jones, and, as always, the rock and roll mime, Brian Wayne.
Yo.
And, again, back for his second episode, we've got the guy on the couch, this time a chair, Mason.
We got him a chair.
Yo, I got a chair this time. Albeit a creaky chair, but a chair.
Goddamn.
Brian, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah?
I had a pretty uneventful week.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about. Oh yeah. I don't like to sniff my farts on air. You know. So.
That's good. I don't want to. Mason, how are you?
I'm doing well. I've been better, but I'm doing well. Just been living the life.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Forcefully getting learned on comic books.
Well, I have a little bit of my own
Well, what
knowledge.
you don't know is Mason is actually in a chain. He's got chains around him right now. He's not here by his own sheer will.
No. Like,
That's why we got him a chair. It's so hard to chain him down when I was on a couch.
If you support us on Patreon, though, we'll be able to afford some leather straps for him. Might be a little bit more comfortable.
Or for double, we'll release them depending on what you're into.
No, we're not doing that. No,
we might.
No.
They invited me over to record an intro and just wouldn't let me go afterwards.
No, Mason, we've already said you're chained up. It's canon now. Moving forward, you got any news for us this week, Brian?
A little bit. Brian Michael Bendis, way back decided that hinted that he was going to be writing an X-Men movie. And then just kind of went unheard of for a while until recently when he confirmed on Twitter that he's still working on this movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and considering that Disney has bought out Fox and everything, it makes you wonder what Bendis knows, and yeah.
That sounds cool. Are we gonna...
The Kitty Pryde one you were talking about?
It was hinted that it is going to heavily involve Kitty Pryde.
So are we still getting more Ellen Page?
I have no idea.
Because, I mean, that was who we had for Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It really depends. What are they going to do with the X-Men moving forward? Are we going to get a complete reboot again? I don't want another origin story.
No, absolutely not.
Nah, Marvel's taken over. Then they'll do just fine figuring it out. They're not going to bore us. I'm not worried about that. They've been drooling over this bringing X-Men into the universe concept for so long. They're not going to fuck it up. It's not going to happen.
They've been doing such a great job on the other movies. I'm really excited to see what their translation for X-Men is going to be.
Yeah.
That could be really good.
For sure. Either way, Bendis, who jumped ship from Marvel to DC last year, is working on a Marvel movie. Confirmed. Can confirm. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Another little tidbit was, I guess it was hinted at, I don't watch the show, but in the Flash show, they hinted at Red Death. And if you're not familiar with Red Death, he was a part of the team of evil Batmans that showed up in the Snyder and Capullo's Dark Knight series.
Okay.
The Metal series. So, yeah, no, it's pretty cool that he's already, he showed up last year in comics and he's already making a TV appearance. And it's probably my favorite version of the evil Batmans, obviously besides the Batman Who Laughs. But, yeah, Red Death was cool. So, if you just so happen to have been one of the ones that decided to go out and buy multiple copies of that book, it immediately jumped in price before... within a week after it sold out. It went into... I don't know if it went into second printing or not, but it sold out quick. Just because the character design was cool, the story was great. But, so now that book, it's starting to rise in price, so...
Cool. I guess all you collectors out there.
Yeah, for sure. I know I picked up a couple extra copies hoping something would happen. I didn't think it happened this soon, though. So we'll see how he's depicted on TV, once it actually happens. If it looks comic book accurate, then the price will probably go up even a little more. If it sucks, then who knows? I mean, I don't watch the CW Arrowverse and all that stuff, so I don't know. But we'll see.
I'm way far behind though.
Yeah, I don't know. There's too much other stuff to watch. I haven't even watched Punisher season 2 yet.
I'm the negative Nancy who says it's a little bit cheesy. I mean, the Punisher series has gotten pretty good, but
It is.
The Flash series and...
But I feel like for Flash it works because, yeah, it's hokey, yeah, it's comic booky.
Yeah.
But for the Flash, that works. I mean, because he is that kind of...
No, and I get it.
I get it, but it's just the DC characters they have chosen to involve have been that way. I mean, same with Supergirl. It's very much that just hokey, campy, cheesy, you know...
It is, which I think is fine for if you're trying to make a show that can appeal to people who aren't comic book fans.
It's right, because it appears on a channel, like, I think it's like basic TV. I think
Right, you can get this with bunny ears.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, they're not aiming for comic book fans. They're aiming for anybody possible.
Just like Marvel has their ABC stuff with their Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. Like, it's not anything like the Netflix stuff by any means. Right. Like, it's the same reason I don't watch that stuff is because it's just...
Like, if you had a Lord of the Rings TV show, it would be so drama-filled that it wouldn't really feel like... Yeah. It wouldn't feel like Lord of the Rings, but that is what would sell to the masses.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's up for debate. Like, if you push the Lord of the Rings button right there,
I don't want to get into that. I definitely don't want to talk about Lord of the Rings.
One point is that Lord of the Rings, if you're reading through the books, like aside from The Hobbit, is a lot of drama and slow motion and plot.
No, you're right.
Like, The Hobbit is very quick moving, but the rest of it...
Fair. But for some reason, I would just envision like a Young and the Restless with elf ears.
Well, okay, if it were going daytime.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I mean, I've always compared the CW, the Arrowverse to like if Dawson's Creek had, masks and cakes. Like, that's how it was.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's the same
but it's fun.
Station.
But it's fun.
No, and
like,
there's
the action
nothing wrong with
sequences
it.
are good. The comedy is easy to laugh at.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that by the time it started being relevant, there's just too much out there to know. Like, they had like 52 seasons of Arrow before they started like creating the Arrowverse and all that shit. So I don't know, man. It's
fair enough. Well, they had to see if it would sell first.
Yeah, and it's selling. It's doing fine. It's just
you got any other news for us?
I do a little bit. Not necessarily news, but something kind of... Like, I keep seeing all these clickbait sites and everything, and it's just bothering me. Everywhere I look, it says that Kevin Smith thinks that Tom Cruise would be an awesome Wolverine. And that's bullshit. That's not what he said at all. I listened to the Fat Man Beyond podcast.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he was high as shit, and he was joking when the thought of Tom Cruise as Wolverine. Now, the true headline would be, Kevin Smith thinks that Tom Cruise as Wolverine would be $1 billion movie. And I don't disagree with that, because the next anybody as Wolverine is going to be $1 billion movie. But, that doesn't mean that he would be the best Wolverine. And that's where I think a lot of these clickbait sites are trying to get these readers who don't even click on the thing to read the story.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that from someone that did actually listen to the podcast. That's not what he means. Don't discredit Kevin Smith for a shitty fucking idea.
I wouldn't think that he would actually want him as Wolverine.
He was
that movie would sell money. Would sell tickets though.
Things being taken out of context everywhere. So.
Yeah, it was a hypothetical, joking type of thing. I don't fucking know. And I just wanted to, for anybody that didn't click on the actual article and read, that seems to have discredited Kevin Smith for that. Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah, there's lots of things I disagree with Kevin Smith on, but that's I at the same time, whenever you get there, I want the full story.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree. So let's get on with the overview for
Let's talk about some comics.
Yeah, the books that came out the 30th of January.
You want to start with the indies this week?
Let's start with Valiant Comics, Bloodshot Rising Spirit #3, Kevin Grava, Ken Lashley, Oliver Borges, Ryan Wynn, and Andrew Dahlhaus. Cover by Felipe Massafera, and it is a brilliant cover indeed. So, we get more into the spirit of what Bloodshot was originally. This is the original Bloodshot.
Whoa. So,
Back in 1895.
okay, because as I say, I've been following Bloodshot for a little bit.
Since 1895. So here we go. Flashback to 1895. We get these two scientists. They Eureka'd the nanobots. Oh, and this is okay, now we can build this thing. Flash forward 3 years, 1898. Bloodshot is on his first mission. Or at least the first mission we see Bloodshot
Right.
in. And his mission is to be the catalyst to start a war between Cuba and Spain. Cuba brings him in and says that we need to start this war with Spain. It's a necessary war. So what Bloodshot does, he disguises himself to get on this, as a Spaniard, gets on a Cuban ship, so it's an inside job thing, and he pretty much blows up the ship, causing war. But in this explosion, Bloodshot actually is trapped down at the bottom of the sea, under the sea.
He blows up the main.
And he's trapped down in the wreckage for 115 years when he's discovered again. So at this point, especially you wondering, how did he not, blah, blah, blah.
I'm assuming it has something to do with his blood because he can't do oxygen.
Exactly. The nanobots can't produce, because there's no oxygen, the
He
nanoboots...
can't do the oxygen, sorry. he can't inhale, he can't take in any
Exactly.
oxygen.
So because there's no oxygen, the nanobots actually go into a stasis. And so that answers that whole question of, how if he's like so regenerative, how come he doesn't?
Well, that's good
blah, blah,
because
blah.
I mean that's still kind of staying within canon because as I always understood it with Bloodshot, the nanobots kind of had almost a symbiotic relationship
Very
with
much so.
his blood flow.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so we had the lady from this Project Rising Spirit. She says that, oh yeah, well, we pulled you up. We thought you were lost forever.
Right.
But we thought that, hey, maybe you'd still be with the remains of the main. So we found you and collected you.
Yep.
But, little side gig here, that's not really his memories. He didn't go on the main. He didn't blow that up. Again, this is just them planting memories into his brain to make him the soldier that they want.
And that's part of the original Bloodshot story that's been around since the
And
beginning.
that's still true. But now they're like, how they're implanting memories, and time after time again, the last two ones have been about failed attempts at that.
So the title of this Bloodshot is Rising Spirit. This is the Rising
The
Spirit
actual
program.
project.
This is
Right.
yes. So and that's what they're doing. And throughout this book, it is this particular doctor by the name of Olga trying to convince the board that this memory implantations are working. They're successful. They're not going to fail. Meanwhile, the board, for the most part, is pretty reluctant. But being that she's able to honey dick him for the most part, if you will.
Pretty much.
Yeah. She convinces him, and he goes about. Bloodshot goes on a mission. His first mission is to rescue this American scientist that, as they reveal, she's being held by these Russians. Now here's where the story gets kind of convoluted. Towards the end, Bloodshot goes in with a team of two other people. I haven't seen these people in this issue throughout, so if you haven't, and I don't recall if they're in the first two issues at all. I don't remember. But they go in there, this team of three, and just clean up the place, like no problem. Get the scientist, and it seems like, they go through this door, and it seems like all is safe. All of a sudden, Bloodshot smells this grenade.
Throws a table on top of it.
Yeah, jumps on it. And then for whatever reason, they're just separated. The team doesn't know where Bloodshot is, and Bloodshot is in this weird vision of, I know, I see that look on your face. I don't understand the storytelling at the end. But yes, so the team is separated. The two are like, we need to call Rising Spirit and let them know that the asset's missing. Meanwhile, Bloodshot sees this vision of this lady carrying this crying baby, and he's not in the same area. He's in this room with, like, these test tubes and everything with these babies in them and everything, and then it's to be continued.
I think some of this is him, in between his memory implants, coming to with the test labs. Of course, he's heavily sedated, so I think that, you would just get snippets of it.
And I totally understand
screenshots.
that, but in no way, shape, or form, like, that has to be explained in the next issue for sure. So it was just kind of a little convoluted storytelling towards the end. Overall, I love this. It's a great book for a new Bloodshot reader.
I think what your major problem right there was why did his team abandon him after the grenade?
Well,
Why
exactly.
did they disappear?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
They're
think they
just split
did.
up.
I don't think they did. I think it's just a lot of them were buried in the rubble.
No. If you,
Of
That-
course,
no,
he
that's-
survives that.
no, he's in the rubble. I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Those are Russians.
No, those are Russians right there. I don't know what all that is. You see Bloodshot. He gets up. He just starts whooping ass, and then all of a sudden you get this shot of like the rest of the team going, "Where's Bloodshot?" While presumably the way it's being drawn, the way as
They
a
were
reader,
there when he threw himself on top of the grenade.
yes, and at the same time he's in the same scene, punching these Russians after coming to, and they don't. Yeah, I'm very confused. So I hope they explain that in the next issue.
No, you got a good point. They are a little convoluted with that.
Right, but overall, I love this title. Ken Lashley does a great job illustrating. I'm a little confused by some of the character design. I gotta say there were parts that were slop, where like you could clearly see it's the same person talking, but their face is just so inconsistent that it could be it's a little hard to understand. But overall, I mean, I know Ken Lashley's better than that, so I'm not gonna discredit him just based off this book. But other than that, overall, I think it's great.
Well, and it's also hard when I'm going to say, when you're drawing like squads of characters who haven't been previously introduced, who you're not even sure if they're going to be permanent characters in this story, to say, all right, well, I'm going to set out and I'm going to make every single one of these guys very distinctly unique and stand out.
Well, and I get that. I totally get that. I mean, there's a million different factors that can play in there. It can. It's like I said, I'm not hating on them at all. But that was really just my one as far as the art goes with my writing, I had my one little I don't get it, but I know it's going to be explained based off of how well the first 19 pages of Gravat's story was told. So I know I'm not going to.
We definitely have a lot more. I mean, but they're not finished by a long shot telling the story. So.
No. Oh, fuck no. But I don't know. You being the guy that got me into Bloodshot, I'm glad I was able to jump on this.
No,
I like
am
the
too.
Rising Spirit a lot. This is great. And this is fully
Cool.
recommended.
Any other indies?
Oh yeah, buddy. We're wrapping up Rick and Morty D&D.
Yeah, we are.
I did. I love this book. It is everything I wanted out of this book. It's perfect. Fucking 5 out of 5, man. This is great. It is Patrick Rothfuss, Jim Zub, Troy Little, and Leonardo Ito. Cover by Troy Little. I decided to get his variant cover to go along with the rest of the variant
character
covers.
sheets,
The
yeah.
character sheets.
Yeah,
This
they're great.
particular one is Rick as a bard. So
Yeah.
I got my bard character sheet ready to go, buddy. This
Heck
is what I'll be
yes.
playing with tonight, by the way. I'm going to be using
I'm
this.
down. I'm down.
Actually,
I can't wait for the roleplay.
I've got 5 character sheets because one of the covers is a dual side, so we can all like go through.
Yeah, we have to make this a thing. We have to play a one shot with the Rick and Morty characters.
Anyway,
That would
yeah.
be great.
That's brilliant. Write it up, buddy. Write it up.
I'm already working on it now.
Right on. We'll deviate from this brilliant story that Rothfuss and Zub did, though. We'll do our own Rick and Morty.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, we're back where 3 left off, and 3 the team was.
They're in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
They've all been magically made their characters by the Dungeon Master,
Right.
who is a good cameo from the Dungeons and Dragons TV show that had like 20 some episodes.
Yeah. So yeah, they're in the last episode they like totally fucked up this town under the impression that they were there to do good. It was a war, or what do they call it, a war camp or whatever.
Right.
And then they realized that it's not. So
Right.
then there's a lot of remorse there, except for Summer.
Well,
and-
Summer, she's playing her ranger. She's into character. She's got this blood feud with giants.
Well, her backstory
Right.
involves them killing her brother, so she has a forever feud with the giants.
Right.
So that comes. I mean, Summer, I actually believe, is the most interesting character in this particular book. I think in all 4 titles, everyone has their moment. Jerry more than anybody. Jerry's the fucking man.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry had, he's just the charismatic, fun.
Well, he's the most knowledge
Wizard.
of the game. He has the most knowledge of the game.
Right.
And that's the.
But I feel
Which
like
would make sense for Jerry's character.
because he's
Well,
like
in
that.
this world, if you don't know D&D, you're not cool. Like, that's the thing, is like, the reason. Alright, so let me give you a little bit of a backstory.
Yeah,
real
it's just,
quick.
I'm just gonna say though, with the writing that we originally had for Rick and Morty, the way Jerry's character was portrayed, it definitely makes sense for him to have been a basement nerd in his teens.
Right. So in this Rick and Morty universe, the whole catalyst is everybody in Morty's school is playing D&D, and Morty doesn't know how to play. Rick's like, well, you want to learn D&D? I'm going to take you to a world where if you actually die in this world, you die in real life. So now you got to learn how to be a really good guy. They come back after a failed attempt, and then it's revealed that Jerry just so happens to be like the man. And then this is where Jerry gets his moment with his family. Beth all of a sudden's attracted to him. Morty wants to hang out with Jerry more because Jerry's character is the wizard. When they go back into the world after they establish this with Jerry, Rick is a sourpuss. He's like, how does Jerry better than something at me? So the DM makes him a bard, which is the one thing that Rick, for the first 2 issues, is going on and on to Morty about. He's like, my grandson will never be a bard! And then the DM makes him a bard.
Just a little bit filler here. So everybody in Morty's school talking about D&D. Morty overhears a conversation between 2 kids. Like, oh, well, let's invite Jason over for the game. No, Jason's a fake player. He only just plays to get laid. Well, Morty hears play to get laid. Now he wants to play Dungeons and Dragons because puberty.
It's all for a girl.
So he goes to Rick and says, hey, Rick, I want to teach me how to play D&D. Just put the books into my head. Give me a hat. And Rick's like, Morty, you know how I said I was disappointed in you? Remember how I said there was a language that had 68 different ways to say disappointment and how none of them captivated how I felt about you? Do you have any dice? Yes. Morty, I've never been so proud. And Rick goes through, they play first edition with a bunch of crotchety old farts, and Morty goes through like 7 different characters because he keeps dying because he's a level 1. They're all high level with magical items, but in old school D&D, you made a brand new character. If you've lived, you gotta keep cool shit.
Yeah.
Then they go on to 2nd edition, which they go to Blitz and Chips. They go to the Life of Roy, and he hacks it, and they go into the D&D world. Morty is a paladin, but then they get stomped. And, of course, Rick is a wizard.
It's just
then
failure after failure.
They go into
Morty.
3rd edition with this big world that Rick created. They bring Summer into it and Beth. Beth is a barbarian, and they're smashing. And Summer is a... What did she play again?
Ranger.
No, she played Ranger for the second one. What did she play first? She was a rogue.
Oh, that's right.
And then Morty was the cleric.
Yeah.
And Rick was wizard again. And then they're going through, and it's just a dungeon crawl. They're fighting. Everybody's worn out but Rick. And they're looking at him like, well, you're not even scratched. You're just awesome. Stop cheating. We'll be at the tavern. They leave that world because Morty starts dancing with a half-orc girl and picks up a tambourine because Rick had this stuff put into place. It's a failsafe because his grandson will never play a bard. It starts melting down. Bring us to Jerry snooping around the house, going through people's underwear, stealing canned soup. And he's like, oh, D&D, yeah, I've been known to roll the dice back in my day. So he picks a wizard. But he picks a class and puts bonuses into charisma, a stat that Rick the whole time says is lame and useless. That's why he's so fucking cool. That's why he's able to articulate himself so well. And that's why everybody likes him, because he has charisma. Whereas Rick, he gets created as a bard because he won't pick a class. The DM's like, well, I'll pick one for you. And since he says charisma is a dump stat, he's just this ugly little gnome person. So it's a huge contrast.
Right. And Jerry becomes the leader of this party. So then let's go back to issue 4 here. So that was the recap of the first 3 issues and what the fuck we're talking about.
My bad.
So issue 4, they're at the war camp. They realize it's not a war camp. So at this point, they're like, oh shit, we gotta help all these guys. Let's do the right thing and put them all back together. And they realize through one of the higher orcs, what's his name, Whirlwind, these kids are missing. And then they're like, okay, well, this is how we'll go get these kids. Well, while they're on their little tra-la-la-la-la, Beth reveals that this whole end of the world thing is her fault because she attached a prophecy to her character. And then that's
her backstory had a world-ending prophecy.
Because she thought it would be cool. And so, yes. And now, at this point, they realize kind of what they got to do. Jerry and his knowledge knows where to go. They go get their clues. We don't need to go through this bit by bit, but they get their clues and everything. And you get the classic... Oh, it's so D&D, man.
It is so D&D.
At one point, Summer actually deviates, and this is the turning point for Summer. She sees this orc on the ground, or ogre, pinned under a tree, and then she realizes that it's one of the the mothers of the missing children. So she kind of gets this change of heart or whatever, and with Summer being like all aboard at this point, now it's time to get crunk.
They got a fucking party. They got a quest.
Yep. So they go to where they need to go. This wizard's house. They're not very welcoming. So instead, Summer just kicks down the door, and I love what they say here. It says 3 hours, 8 apologies, and 27 gold pieces later, they're allowed to do their
because that's
research.
how a D&D game goes.
Yeah. And they get what they need, and, well, kinda. While Jerry's reading something, Morty overhears something, and that's when Morty's like, oh, this is my part. You realize the town they're in is Morty's hometown, so he knows exactly who to go to get answers. So that's Morty's part in this little quest. They go off, they find the portal that they need to go to where the ritual is going down. And it is being held by, oh shit, what are their name? Seb and Lucy, the ones that set them up to take out the war camp to begin with, to allow them to be able to capture the children and blah, blah, blah. So we have a battle with Seb and Lucy, but I don't remember which one goes down first. One of them goes down easily, but then Seb, or whoever it may be, or Lucy, has this overpowered whatever. And
I believe that's Lucy. I believe that's the
Lucy,
girl.
yeah. And Summer does the most unsummery thing, and she sacrifices herself, and she's like torn in two. She halved herself.
Did I get him?
Yeah. And at this point, the game's getting ready to end, and Jerry and his almighty wizardry is like, I got this, and he puts this unknown spell, and then the game ends, and they're back at home, and there's no Summer.
Well, hold on. You skipped a whole part. So
Did I?
They're sitting over Summer's corpse. You know, she's torn in sunder. She's about ready to die, and you know they said, "Go save the children." And Jerry cast a spell.
Oh yeah,
we have to do
children
this.
did
We have
get
to finish
saved,
this.
yeah.
So they finish their quest. They save the children. They save the world. They have the celebration in their honor, but it feels hollow because they have a death. And then they go back to their time. The DM comes back and says, "Okay, well you've succeeded. You go back to your world." But they got brought back, and Beth is like, there's something you have to do. You're Rick Sanchez. Bring my daughter back. And Rick says, no. No matter what I do, I could clone her. I could bring a Summer back from another reality, but they won't have her memories. It won't be her.
Right.
And then she comes in from the hallway. Comes to find out that spell that Jerry had cast was banishment. Because he is such a nerd, he understood the rules, that it banishes them from this plane to their own plane. So back to reality where she was safe. And even Rick says, you're like, so for somebody who played the fool and you thought that you were so trustworthy of the DM, I'm surprised you thought that. He's like, well, I never trust anybody else with the well-being of my family.
Yep.
And of course they're talking about how all the status effects from their characters are about ready to wear off. So Beth drags him up to the bedroom.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Oh
great
yeah, it's
story.
great. And then everyone goes off in their happy family thing. Then you get the Rick sitting in the dim dining room rolling dice by himself, and then Rick gets his happy ending. Summer comes around the corner. What's up, Pops? Let's do this old
Let's
school.
play a game of D&D.
Yeah, they bust out the pencils and the dice, and they do it old school. And
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This was a great miniseries. It's everything I could have wanted. Rothfuss and Zub did a great job.
Definitely.
And I'm glad that you actually caught up, binged it all today.
I did,
because
man.
It's the Justin story, man. It is. It's
Yeah, I
Justin's
loved
story.
it. I can't believe I waited so long.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Moving along.
Any other indies?
Huh?
Any other indies?
Yeah. Ice Cream Man, number 9. This is one that I've been excited to review, and as it
Finally
turns
read
out,
it.
I need to read the first 8 issues to know what the shit's going on here, but from what I did read, I could just shoot through this real quick.
Tell me all about it.
It's amazing. This is a true horror comic. This is true. True horror comic. Like,
Ooh.
every bit of this is like, holy shit, this is great. The art is skin crawly. It's amazing. So we get a Western setting here. He's going through, and he's pretty much just terrorizing his uncle and his cousin. Like, he ends up, like, skinning his cousin's dog and shit through trickery. Like, this Ice Cream dude, I don't know if he's a shapeshifter or what the shit's going on. Like I said, I need to read the first 8 issues, but because I finally got to read one issue, I know what the hype is about as far as just, like, a really good horror comic. And
Yeah?
this is perfect. This is fucking perfect. I want...
All right, cool. Tell me about it.
I just did.
Piqued my interest.
That's all I'm going to give you. You get a giant spider fight in the West. You get these... I don't know what I'm looking at. It's just horror-ish. like I said, he skins his dog, and a lot of trickery and misleading. And
Let me flip some pages.
yeah, the art is very Western-like. It's fucking cool, man. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't have enough to say about it, but eventually I will read the first 8 issues, which I guess turned out to be like a full story arc.
Is this like a Candyman type thing? Like him showing up through the ages?
I've heard it be described as like he's almost like a Pennywise type of character.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I don't know that for sure. It's just...
Interest peaked.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I look forward to hearing more about it.
For sure.
Is this one that you think I need to hop on? Is this something I would love?
Yeah, I think so. If you want a good horror comic, like it's
You know I
horror.
do.
It's good. It is.
Nice.
Let's scoot along. This is a book I've been so excited about. Fight Club 3. Chuck Palahniuk, Cameron Stewart, and Dave McKeag. I decided to go with one of the variant covers.
I love me some Palahniuk.
Oh my god, who doesn't? Kirby Fagan. So, this is a Palahniuk story. I don't know what to say. There's very little words in here. The book is told through visuals. And goddamn are they great visuals.
That's unusual for Palahniuk because, I mean...
It's just...
I've only read Fight Club and Choke and Ghosts and a couple of others.
I'd say there's less than 100 words in this book.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's told brilliantly. So Balthazar is our character with the dual personalities. One of them's a playboy. He's cheating on his wife, his pregnant wife with the son at home. There's just so many questions to be answered here. The girl loses her dog, and she paints a picture of him. Goes to the thrift store, buys this frame to frame this picture. Somehow this picture winds up at an auction. This old man comes in, drops a suitcase full of Nazi gold, buys the picture, takes the picture out of the frame. Takes the picture out of the frame, thinking that he just wants the picture. No, he takes the frame, and then you see that same person later on with the girl and a new painting, and you see like this montage of, I believe it's supposed to be depicting the picture moving, like you get the setting, and it runs up, and then you see the dog in the front. At first there's no dog, and then there's a dog running up. So I don't know if this is like a magic frame or what the shit's going on here. So fucking weird.
There's nothing that's out of bounds with Palahniuk, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you've read his stories, I think really even Ghost is one of the ones that really gets you, because Ghost is actually about a writer's retreat. And it's freaking weird because it's all of the stories that these different writers are writing, and you get to see Palahniuk write in the style of quite a few different writers and write stories that just don't seem like they fit, but they fit because they are stories being told within a story.
Nope.
And
dude,
you never know what to expect from him. You really don't.
I love it, man. I am fully on board with this, and he's coming to town, boys, on the 15th. So we'll be I'll be getting some signage done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, buddy, I gotta meet this man because he's one of the greatest writers of our generation. He's amazing. He's incredible.
He's out there.
He's out there, and I love it. I love every bit of it. That's all I have for indies. What do you got for indies?
I got nothing else to talk about this week.
You got nothing else to talk about. Well, before we move on to the big two, let's talk about what we're drinking, guys, on account of it starting to work. Anchor Steam beer. Anchor Steam beer.
Made in
Anchor
San
Steamer.
Francisco since 1896. Says right so on the bottle.
What it doesn't say on the bottle is the alcohol by volume, which is 4.8.
Doesn't. We had to
Or
look
what
that
kind
up.
of beer it is. What kind of beer? It's not a steam beer. I don't know, but I think it's delicious. We should have looked into this. It's thick and creamy head, something rich flavor, testify, methods, random words I'm reading on a label, other world. Well, as we look at that, I'm going to be drinking.
Yeah, it's good beer. I like
It's
it.
good. It's good.
Yep.
Good. Alright, guys.
Let's do Marvel first.
Well, shit, that's not how this works.
Okay, let's do DC first.
Let's do DC first.
DC first.
Alright. That's not how it's... I'm out of order. Batman Beyond number 28. The Final Joke, Part 4. Dan Jurgens, Brett Booth, Norm Ratman, and Andrew Dollhouse. Covered by Pascal Furry and Dave McCaig. Once again, you got me hooked on this book, man. I love it. I love
this
this
the
book.
one you were talking about with me earlier today, where it's Joker and not the Joker?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Well, the Joker's there too.
Right, but they're not fighting the Joker.
They're right. They're not fighting the Joker.
Johnny.
So, let's talk about that, huh? So, Batman and Robin, aka Matt and Terry, they were met through this door at the last issue by this cyborg Joker being controlled by the revived or renewed, whatever vernacular you want to use. Joker's controlling him. And,
Joker's back in town.
And this tech Joker, like, Joker's whole his whole thing is, if you're going to upgrade, so am I. So he's got this badass Joker, cyborg, that just pretty much just whoops through these guys. They take them out, there's a big blast, and they end up getting separated. But during this whole fight, there's this pivotal moment while Terry's communicating back to Bruce and Dick, Joker hears Terry say the word Bruce.
Bruce. Who are you talking to? Who's Bruce?
Yes, and then it just moves on. Big blast. And then Batman and Robin get separated. While Terry's knocked out, Joker uses this opportunity to pretty much do what he does and fucks with the Robin. He drags him through this dirty alley, and he's taking these pictures with his unconscious body that he then sends to Terry, who is just now beating Johnny with the help of Dick Grayson flying in on his jet to help out. And then it's revealed that, so at this point, you get this, oh shit, Joker's gonna kill Robin again.
There's gonna be another death in the family.
Yes, but there's more to it. We might actually get a trade-off here for something I think would be, dare I say, worse than them killing Robin, would be Joker learning Bruce's identity.
Sure.
Because in exchange, Joker makes a deal, I'll give you your precious Robin if you tell me who Bruce is.
Who you're working with, right.
And so that's where we get cliff-hanged.
Yep.
And it's brilliant. I love it. The art by Booth, the ink by Ratman, and the colors by Dollhouse are perfectly done. This easily in my top 3 DC books.
Yeah, man, I love the combination of like old school Batman with the Joker coming back and a lot of the old references and like Neo Gotham thrown in there. Like, this story works for me.
The cover style on that is very 90s, really.
It's very Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
it's
like,
perfect.
Yeah, they're very true to the source, and I love it.
Yeah, and you get to see the crowbar again.
Yep.
It's great. It's just full of nostalgic moments. It's creepy. It's told well. It's told in a very dark tone, and as well it should be. It's the return of the Joker, and possibly a rehash of one of DC's greatest Bat stories. Death in the Family.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
I'm okay with this rehash because he's obviously varying it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely taking their own take on it.
For sure. Yeah. Moving along, another great book DC put out was Action Comics 1007. I'm finally reading Action Comics, and I'm not disappointed even a little bit. Leviathan Rising, Part 1, Brian Michael Bendis, Steve Epting, and Brad Anderson. Cover by Steve Epting, and boy is it a beaut. Did you read Action Comics?
I did.
It's an important one. So Jimmy Olsen is alive.
He is.
And he's doing his reporting thing. He's not doing his reporting thing.
He is on a date.
And this particular date decides to take him into this club, and surprise, it's the Lizard Cult. So, with his journalistic blood, he decides to snap some photos, causes a riot, runs out, explosion, cut scene. Lois is meeting up with her dad.
Yep.
And she reveals to her dad that the father of his grandson is Superman. And his grandson is currently
on another planet, light years away, with his other grandfather.
Yes. And as it stands already, before that bombshell of a bit of news, Lois and her dad already didn't have a very great relationship. So after that, you get, I found it to be a great emotional moment in here.
Yeah, it was a very compelling snippet.
And I think it's going to be a super, super important part from here going out, knowing that the grandfather of Superboy now knows the true identity of everything going on. And
This is a man who hates Superman.
yes, loathes him. So yeah, no, I found that. I mean, I'm intrigued as to where Bendis takes it from there. Also, we get a little bit of a Amanda Waller. Superman goes off and with his super hearing, hears Waller, saves her life.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, oh shit, if shit's going down where I'm at, I'm in a super secret location. No one's supposed to know where I'm at. That means some shit's going on. Big blue light eruption. Waller's gone, and
but we see the same big blue explosion that we see with
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we don't know if
with
this
the
is
whole
a lizard
folk
yeah.
cult. Like something's going on.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was. I mean, there's an info dump without being a dump. And it's more Superman. I like. Of course, it's by the same writer writing Superman.
Definitely. I mean, they within 20 pages gave us a lot of different plot hooks that kind of meet up together, and the art is phenomenal. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on moving forward. They've sold more comics to me.
Yes. Let's move on to DC annuals. There were too many DC annuals. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't know if it was a scheduling conflict. Not only were there 3 annuals this week, being a Teen Titans, a Flash, and a Justice League, but the Flash annual fell on the same week that Flash drops. So we got 2 Flash titles this week.
They weren't really connected, though.
No. Well, kinda. I mean, very vaguely, but yeah. So, with that being said, let's talk about Flash Annual number 2. What do you got for us? Did you read it?
I did.
Yeah. It's entailing Godspeed. Really what it comes down to is it's involving... We could skim through this. We don't have to go through all 30 pages.
It's bringing Heroes in Crisis into board.
Yeah, it is.
It's Barry not knowing how to mourn the loss of Wally again.
Yep. Godspeed
he hasn't told his wife, Iris.
Yep.
It's just him running away from his problems like always. He runs into Godspeed looking for Wallace in the Speed Force. Barry is looking for Wally in the Speed Force.
Yep.
Runs into Godspeed. Godspeed and him have a little bit of a fight. Godspeed punches them all with this new gauntlet he has.
And there's Kid Flash,
capturing an essence of their Speed Force. He runs into the new kid.
Impulse,
and he's not able to punch him. Whatever voice he's talking to says he's not ready. But he does lay on a little hint to Barry that maybe he's not acting on his own. Maybe there's somebody watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just find out that the entity he's talking to is...
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Fuck if I know. Like I said, I'm not reading Flash, but I like to read the annuals and see what's going on, and especially when it involves like Heroes in Crisis, because I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But
yeah,
I mean,
Heroes in Crisis has been good.
Is it a pivotal story? Nah. I mean, I guess if you're a super Flash fan, it's good. But
I mean, the annuals are often just used as a segue of, okay, here's our other story you just finished. Here's the next story moving forward.
Right, and same thing with what was it, Flash 50 something that came out this week.
56?
Yeah, something like that. It was the end of the bombardment of all the new forces that are being thrown at us, the Still Force and all this shit that's been developed, and it's slowly tied into very vaguely tied into this, or led into this annual, which then led into...
I'll be honest with you, it's been forever since I've read anything from The Flash.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really read it.
I'm going to have to do a lot of reading just to understand what's going on anymore.
Yeah. Well.
But this was a good time to hop in. Maybe we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Next up from DC was another annual, like we had mentioned, Justice League, annual number 1. Snyder, James Tynion IV. Who else? Sorry, I lost my shit. Daniel Sampier, Juan Albaron, and Adriano Lucas. Covered by Yannick Paquette and Fairbairn. I got that all messed up. Anyway, so this is an info dump of a book. It is the wrap up to the first 17 issues of Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, the Source Wall, it'd be breaking open. That's a bad thing. The thing that's been holding it together for as long as it has just been the sheer will of the Lantern Corps. They realized that the key to closing the Source Wall is to bring all these Omega Titans back. But hey, remember in Justice League No Justice when they killed one of the Titans? Yeah, that means they don't have all four to do this. So, with that being said, they bring in Starman, who they very blatantly, I don't remember who says it, but one of the heroes is like, oh, dude, he's like a B-list hero from, like, the 90s. What's he gonna do?
Bringing him back.
Everything. He's got the power. And he discloses to Hawkgirl that through her wings he could transfer this whatever power. Oh shit! I know the name of this power. It's called Totality. They're gonna transfer the Totality to her, which she will actually be able to stand in place of the Omega Titan and blah blah blah. So while they're getting ready to do this, hey, Brainiac's back. And he's with the Legion of Doom. He decides that he's going to control Starman's brain and use, instead of directing that power on Hawkgirl, he's going to direct it on their ship, and then they got the power! And it happens, and he doesn't get the mind control device off in time, and that's bad.
Sounds bad.
There's so much going on. The Lantern Corps are heavily involved, and at this point, like, the wall erupts, and then the Lanterns are like, we gotta go do our shit! And, who else? Mr. Miracle and all of his people, like, cause, like, this whole group, like, they all brought in the Titans, like, as their own whatever, like, the Lanterns brought in one of the Titans, and another group brought in the Titans, and another group, so... I'm not doing this story any justice because it actually was a very good story. It wasn't all convoluted or everything. I didn't have to read it 65 fucking times to get it. I enjoyed it. The art was great. I liked that Starman was relevant. Hawkgirl was the shit. You get both of the Earthling Green Lanterns doing their thing. Swamp Thing has a stroke. And, yeah, meanwhile, Legion of Doom, during the whole thing cracking open, like, this is what sets up, like, the next phase of the Justice League and Legion of Doom, is the entity, like, the god of gods, the thing that the Source Wall was containing, has now been released and is in the custody of the Legion of Doom. So, bum, bum, bum. And that's where we're at.
To be continued.
Yeah, Lex Luthor and Brainiac fucking don't get along at all because you got two alpha brains in there. So you get great chemistry written in there. I know that's where Tinian comes into play because there's two writers on this project. And Tinian is control of the Legion of Doom every 5 issues that this series is doing. So I loved it. I thought it was great. It was a great DC annual, that's for sure.
Cool.
So, I dig it.
Sounds fun.
Did you read the Teen Titans annual?
I did not.
No, neither did I. Heroes in Crisis. Number 5 of 9. We're getting closer. Still no fucking answers. Nope. More goddamn questions.
Who done it?
Who done it, indeed. So, in this here, Beetle and Booster, they are brainstorming now that Beetle broke Booster out of jail on account they thought that he killed Wally. Beetle is convinced that it was Harley. He thinks that Barry's lab would have the answers to the clues as far as being able to confirm.
Right, the place that
yes. So
Booster got arrested from,
yes.
breaking into to find the same answer.
So they blatantly say, like, well, they're trying to think of a plan. Like, let's do the dumbest plan. Let's
they'll
just,
never
like, walk
see it
in
coming.
there. Well, yeah, they'll never expect the dumbest thing to happen. So they do. They just, like, walk in there and catch them off guard, and they get their shit. So then it cuts to Batgirl and Harley, because we got that team up in the last one after their little emo moment. Actually, no, I take that back. Beforehand, I digress. Batman and Harley. So Batman is meeting up with Batgirl. Jesus Christ, I am so sorry. I don't think he is aware that Harley is teamed up with Batgirl.
Definitely not.
She's in the
Definitely
shadows
not.
during this whole thing.
You kind of get that, like the way Barb's acting. She's
Right.
like, hey, yeah, I got this thing at my place.
Yep.
This thing, it's at my place. It does this thing.
Right.
Totally want to check out this robot.
Right. So Batman, he has Beetle's little robot Skeets.
Mhm.
And so he gives it to Batgirl, just like, it's been checked, get all the information you can out of it. It's not going down. Batman leaves to go off and detectify with Barry again, as they've been doing. Harley comes out of the shadows and just beats the shit out of Skeets. And they get their answers, or at least some clues. Supposedly, based off of how this is written. Then it cuts to Superman publishing the big story, because as Lois reveals, Sanctuary is a thing.
Word is out.
And then Clark is like, well, you know what? Let's reveal. All right,
We need a PR speech.
monkey's out of the bottle. So
Yep. Somebody put
Yeah.
that monkey back in that bottle.
Yep. And it's like I said, it's just no fucking answers. No fucking answers. But goddamn, do I want to keep reading more? I want more and more and more. It ends with Harley and Batgirl showing up to confronting Booster, and that's kind of cliffhanger.
Yeah, they're chasing the robot.
Yeah.
We haven't found them with him yet, but I will say one of my
Oh
favorite.
no! They there's a confrontation. Like they come through the glass and they're like, "Hey, Booster," and he's like, "Oh shit," and it's like, "Boom, boom, boom." Oh yeah, no, it's there.
I will have to
Beetle's
say,
not there though.
one of my favorite pages in comics this year so far is when you have Superman giving this speech and you have this montage of all these different characters.
Well, yes.
The art with the writing on this is
Clayman.
phenomenal.
Clayman kills it, and that's the more beautiful part of the story is Superman and Wonder Woman without Batman, because he doesn't do press. Do a press conference and go on to explain the importance of Sanctuary and how it humanizes superheroes and how it shouldn't be something to fear that superheroes have a fault of emotion, if
just
you will.
because they're broken and you need to talk to somebody doesn't mean they're not still heroes, and
Right.
that you should just be afraid.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
It should be a
give you any
testament
more reason to fear.
of what they're going through
Right.
for you.
I
And yeah,
wanna
you're right.
say-
You know, I must have thought that was an ad because I totally skipped that page.
Yeah, no.
That makes that little clip.
Yeah, it's
with
not a
the
Snickers
Harley.
ad. It's not the Snickers ad.
Right.
My favorite page in here is Harley's confessional, where she I'm gonna go ahead and verbatim this one. So Mr. J said, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" And I said, "Duh, to get to the other side."
You know, I said to get to the other side.
And he said, "No, to get to the moron's house." Then he said, "Knock, knock." And I said, "Who's there?" And he said, "The chicken." And he started hitting me. He hit me good. And that's where it ends. Like, these confessional panels, Tom King's just like, I think he's trying to get the people to know that Harley and Joker's not a good thing. Like, this is evil. It's evil.
Right. They're not a glorified couple.
Right.
They've always had a very
Exactly.
toxic relationship.
And it just, the fact that Harley brings that part up to Sanctuary, which is the whole point of Sanctuary, is like the confession of, fuck, this is hard. Like, it sucks. And, she's an anti-hero, so she gets her, moment in the
This
confessional. She
safe
has a spot in
place
Sanctuary.
for people with secrets.
I know that this book is torn a 50-50. Some people hate it because they need Bam Kerplow sploosh, and when there is Bam Kerplow sploosh, you get how did Harley Quinn just, like, in one shot kill Wally West. Like, that's really been the only action in the
This
whole
has been
story.
a lot of character development, and yeah, we've killed off a lot of characters, which I know a lot of people don't like because we don't get these cool action-packed scenes, but they've been really on brand with every character that they've introduced, and they've been so beautifully drawn, so beautifully written. This is a testimony to DC Comics.
And I think this series gets better and better, even though it just makes me wonder more and more. Yet, have they answered a single fucking question? And I'm okay with that, because we still got math. 4 more issues for them to do this up. So, no, I'm impressed. Tom King. He could keep doing his thing. Let's move. We got more DC?
Detective Comics.
We
number
do.
997. You're not reading this one yet, right?
No, but I officially put it on my list this week. I know I said that I was gonna wait till 1,000, but I ordered my 1,000 variants, and I also decided that I was gonna go with 998 instead of 1,000. So I'll be reading it from there.
Right on. Well, let me fill you in. I talked to you last week about the last one.
Sounds fun.
So where that one left off, we left off with Mr. Miracle and Batman. Batman crash land in front of Mr. Miracle's house, and he told him to get the hell out. Well, this one starts off with a Batman in one panel and Mr. Miracle in another panel. They're just having just their heads talking back and forth. And it's pretty much comes down to, well, you need to wake up. I'm up. Hey, it's good to be above ground. I told you to leave. And then you see that the panel, there's water starting to inch up. They're in a trap. They're underwater with a bunch of sharks tied up in straps. Mr. Miracle, of course, is the world's greatest escape artist. But he's an old man now. And they allude to that he doesn't have a way out. This trap is sound. So Batman does his, assess thing, think about this. How can we get out of here? Well, the sharks are starting to nudge Mr. Miracle. They're looking to attack. They're looking for threats. Well, it's buy some time. So he shoots off one of his cowl ears, and distracts one of the guards. Then they use that shark that's bleeding to attract the other sharks. They get the blood in the right spot. He uses the shark bites to loosen the straps, get the straps out, gets Thaddeus, and they escape. Well, they get above ground. They finally escape from the trap, and we get a dark, glowing-eyed, messed up, sharp-clawed Batman. Again, we're going with like these Batman monstrosities.
Okay.
So Batman has a fight with Batman. The good Batman ends up winning. They have a back and forth between Thaddeus and him, and then it cuts off. He thinks he knows where to go. And next thing we have Batman breaking into the house of Hugo Strange. They cut back, and Hugo Strange is dressed up as Batman.
Okay.
It's like we got some weird shit
Here's
going on.
the one behind the whole like Martha and Thomas Wayne corpses being found again. Hugo Strange is
right. Like this whole everybody's using.
He's
his
like the
past against him.
Mysterio of Batman.
Right, but I've never seen him dressed up as Batman before. So
Oh, that's cool.
there's some shit going down.
Tomasi, and who else is on that?
Let me
Peter J. Tomasi.
flip back real quick.
I can't remember. I'm not reading it, so I shouldn't be obligated to remember. But I will be. I know
Tomasi, Monkey, Alami, Irwin, and Baron.
Got it. Yeah. No, it's. I've seen screenshots of the panels now. The art looks amazing, but yeah, no, I'm excited to read it. Next week after. I don't know. It's not next week. I just ordered my 1,000s. I don't know. Soon. I'll be reading. What was that? 997. I'll be reading 998.
Yep.
The show. Marvel.
Let's do it.
So, Uncanny X-Men Annual, some shit went down. In number 10, shit went down. Oh, the mutants gone. So, Age of X-Men, this is where they at. In a world of just mutants. In the solicitations, we know that we're getting 5 stories, all involving weird things, aftermath of this event. Yeah.
Uncanny.
So this is the book setting up those books, setting up the true Uncanny team. It's a pyramid scheme of X-Men, but I'm fucking taking my money. So, with that being said, it starts out where the team, one of the group of X-Men, I guess they're kind of the X-Men now. And the character design is very different, so you can't really determine right off the bat. But Colossus is in there, there's Jean, there's Nightcrawler, there's Storm, Magneto, and Nate. So X-Men. They're going through this town, they realize like everything's moving really slow and weird, and then being X-Men and the way comics work, they're like, oh, it's probably a mutant. And they go and they see this little girl, she's having problems with her, whatever. They're like, come to us, little mutant. So then that sets up the first book. And I kind of like how they go through and like as they make their way through, they it's a linear story that's just like 5 books. Here they come. So they get to the X Mansion, and you get this cool moment where you see like Glob out in this cornfield or whatever, and he like close up shot, closer shot, closer shot, closer shot, and then there's what's on Glob's mind. Find out in Next Gen #1. So that's the first. I like that the way that was told.
I love Glob.
Campy, it's great, and there's no better new mutant to do it with than Glob.
Perfect.
Considering he's like pretty much just eyeballs. So yeah, no. So we get book #1, Next Gen. Moving on. Sorry, that was. Then we get this weird moment where Nightcrawler, they like hint at Nightcrawler being famous. And he's like signing this autograph. He's got a gig, and then that book is just a Nightcrawler book coming. I forget what it's called, but Amazing Nightcrawler. So Nightcrawler's like this movie star now. Next up, we get this scene where Bishop, who is also a member of this team that I left out, and Jean are sitting on a couch. They're watching TV. Then all of a sudden, they're boning.
Can you explain to me something?
Sure.
Okay.
What boning is?
No.
See.
No, can you explain to me? Okay, so in the universe where it's X-Man instead of X-Man, where it's the actual cloned Nate Gray instead of Nathaniel Gray, how does Bishop enter into the story? Because, I mean, X-Man and Cable are essentially the same person, but they're different versions.
Right.
So how does Bishop enter into the story? Like, how is he different in this story than Future Force? Or
because
Future Force is Valiant, but
this is Nathaniel
Future
Gray, who's come from his reality into this Earth, and he is now more powerful here. And
okay, so he's hot dimensions here.
Yeah.
He has a stone that amplifies his power, and he wants to change this universe so that nobody has to suffer like they did in his world.
Okay, so essentially it is going to be same Bishop then.
Oh yeah. But in this New Mutant world, like they're all different in some way. Like their appearances have all altered or whatever. Like oddly enough, now there's a relationship between Bishop and Jean that I'm gonna get to right now. So in the midst of banging, Bishop gets a change of heart, and he's like, "No, this ain't right." And then you start to get a hint that relationships aren't allowed in this world, like mutant relationship, and being it's all mutants, like. It's not a thing. So as Bishop's like, oh, we made a mistake. He goes off, and then he is bombarded by Psylocke. Yeah, there's Psylocke, and a few other mutants, and he's being judged, if you will, for doing such a thing. And he's like, oh yeah, take me instead of Jean. He's like, oh no, she'll be judged too. And that leads into another book called The Extremists. So, I that's actually probably the title I'm most intrigued about, just because it sounds like it's going to be the most roughhousey type of story. And they straight up, like, banish Bishop, cut his fucking throat in, a magical way, to where it's, like, metaphorically cutting his throat. And he, like, has a weird vision and all this other stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then we get the X-Men all gathering at a table, and then late to the party is Laura Kinney, my girl. So you realize that she's a part of this team. So good, she's not banished or anything like that. She shows up late. I'm not a big fan of her character design in this world, but whatevs. So she gets to the table, and they're like, Apocalypse, blah, blah, blah. So then that sets up Apocalypse and the Extracts. So really, like, none of these particular stories are pivotal until you go to read these other stories, and it might make you wonder, like, where it goes, or where it came from, and all of that shit. So, fuck, I think there was one more. There was Apocalypse and the Extracts, amazing. Oh, and then there's another one, Prisoner X, and I forget, that's tied into, like, almost the same damn page. Not necessarily, but close to the same meeting or whatever. I'm mistaken. When Bishop is banished.
Mm-hmm.
That's what leads to the Prisoner X. And if you look at the solicitations on the cover, you get Laura in there. I don't know if it's Laura or Gabby. but definitely one of them with claws. I forget. I didn't look close enough. Shit. But so Bishop is actually going to be. It seems like he's going to be a big part of 2 of these titles.
Okay.
So or maybe he's not going to be a part of Extremis, and that was just his part of setting up the Extremis. Definitely going to be a part of Prisoner X though. So it was well written. I don't think that beyond me telling you anything out of this means that you need to go out and spend $5 on this book by any means. But it was I don't regret spending $5. I know it makes. I was reluctant on the next 5 books. Do I really want to read them? But based off of how well this set up the next books, I was like, oh no, I'm interested in all of these. So
cool.
You got me, Marvel. You got me.
Right on.
Yeah. Moving along, we inching closer. Doctor Strange, number 10, or Legacy, number 400. So this is a milestone issue. So it is an oversized issue. The name of this story is Remittance. Mark Waid, Jesus Saez, Kevin Nolan, Jim Campbell, cover by Jesus Saez. This is all the stuff that's been happening in the last 9 issues have trickled into this. So there's a lot of references to the last 9 issues. So not necessarily the jumping on point that you would hope a number 400 would be, or a Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
But 401 might actually be that point, the way it sets it up. So not a disappointing issue at all. I was for a while I've been on the fence about this title, whether or not I want it, just because sometimes it's just not very exciting.
Sure.
And because I'm slow-minded, I need booms and blams and kerplows more often in my books.
Sure.
But this one, there's not as many booms or plows or kerplows. Yeah, same thing twice. But it was a well-told story. So it starts out with the Ancient One, who is thought to be banished or dead. Shows up to Strange's house. He powerless. Why is he powerless? Well, Fenunculus and his magic tools were told to remove the magical, knowledgeable part of Ancient One's brain, and the panel of them doing that is pretty cool because they actually remove a part of his brain with these magic tools. The character demanding Fenunculus to do this, Fenunculus being a new character, is still yet to be named. He's been bouncing around from here and there doing fucked up things throughout the last 10 issues. So, yeah, there's still some stuff to be learnt about him. So, with that being said, Doctor Strange has to become the master to the teacher and relearnt him. So, in doing so, Ancient One opens up this bit of knowledge, and Strange is transferred to this world of just this vast world of accounting aliens. Accounting clicky
numbers
on a keyboard.
and shit?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then he realizes, well, there's a balance to magic. And with that, there needs to be somebody balancing these things. That's where the accountant comes in. So he finds the accountant. The accountant explains to him, well, you use magic like a motherfucker. And your accountant has just been overwhelmed. And in doing so, just unleash this bad shit. Because your debt is just too much to keep up with. And releasing this bad shit entails Dormammu's breed of people.
Oh no!
Oh no! Indeed. What are they called? The Faltine. So then we get this invasion of the Faltine. And it's like the original encounter between Dormammu and Strange is Strange, originally, he's check it out, dude, I'm so much better now. I've learned so much, you ain't shit.
I'm even more powerful!
But Dormammu was look at all these motherfuckers! And he just, comes hard with all of these
So Dormammu just brought friends.
All of them. And it's fucking awesome. So it's actually, for being an oversized issue, it's a short story, because there's 2, even shorter stories in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But those are for the people that have more, that don't have to read 25 books a week.
Okay.
Overall, I enjoyed Doctor Strange, and I am still committed to it on my pull.
Now, this sounds dope. This sounds like something that would make me jump onto some Doctor Strange.
It's good stuff, man.
I'm going to have to borrow this one and read it.
You might have to. You just might have to. Moving along was we reached my 2018 book of the year, Punisher, number 7, Legacy 235, Warren Begalia Part 2. Matthew Rosenberg, Sisman Krasinski, and Antonio Fabela continue to kick ass. Greg Smallwood's covers are still fucking amazing. So we pick up where we left off. Well, actually, we get a little bit of a scene beforehand, actually. They had mentioned in the previous issue that Chameleon had made a mask resembling Frank, and Bullseye is going around wearing that mask because Chameleon ain't got the cojones to do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So Bullseye is going around wearing a Frankie Castle mask, just like doing bad things, like blowing up cops and shit
Giving
like that.
bad press to Frank
Right.
Castle.
Meanwhile, Castle has just been released from solitary lockdown with his badass skull carved into his chest now to be confronted by Sister Mercy, who is also a prisoner in here.
So one-eyed nun in prison.
Yeah, but she a bad bitch with a lot of knowledge, and she knows some motherfuckers. So at this point, what we get here, without going bit by bit, here's what I'm going to say. You get a fuck ton of goddamn violence because all of the guards hate Castle, and Castle has no problem going into lockdown to fuck these guards up.
Yeah, he'll kick the crap out of a guard for a drop of a dime.
The moments of violence here are fucking incredible. You get Castle shoving a baton down a guard's throat.
Turning it on.
Oh my god. You get a guard like that. Krasinski. I'm saying it's Krasinski. Shoving the gun butt in Castle's face after he's like, he dared me to do it. Like, that's brilliant writing teamed up with amazing art. Like, this is my favorite page this week, is right here when he's getting broken up from this fight. And he's like being held at gunpoint. He dared me, and he turns the gun and just fucking. Crap.
So I like the next part where the guards were about ready to kill Frank in the cell.
Bites his ear
But
off.
of course, he's saved by Taskmaster.
Yep.
Zemo said nobody kills him.
So they put him in Gen Pop.
Yep.
And at this point, when he gets into Gen Pop, he realized that not only did Sister Mercy get her ass whipped, but like all of her crew had got their ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, you gotta take it out on me now. And then
they do.
And they do. And Sister Mercy's like, will you help us take over this prison? And then you get your bump, to be continued. God damn, Matthew Rosenberg. This is the team right here, dude. Rosenberg, Krasinski, and Antonio Fabela. That's the trinity of Marvel
They
comics.
are writing a compelling yet very true to character story for Frank, and
it's brilliant.
This whole World War Frank thing has been
look at the violence in there.
Phenomenal.
It's just the violence is beautiful.
I think you would like the story, Mason.
Very much so. I mean, if you like the Punisher a little bit, you're gonna like it a lot after reading that.
Definitely.
I will take that comic over a Punisher series any day.
I love the Zemo in this story.
Oh, Zemo's great. He's not in this particular issue.
No,
himself,
but in this whole story.
But in the Begalia, like, he's, the catalyst to the Begalia. Like,
right.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fucking good, man. Zemo's written beautifully as well. Rosenberg knows his voices. He won't jump on a book unless he can master the voices of all of the characters. And the fact that he's doing Uncanny on top of Punisher, like, those two books are, like, my favorite books right now. So what's that? I don't know. That's saying some stuff about Rosenberg. It is.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Yeah. Oh, my God, he's great. He's great. Next up, this is a book that I got you on. West Coast Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7, Kelly Thompson, Danielle DiNicuolo, and Triona Farrell. Cover by Eduard Petrovich. Did you read this one?
I did.
Sweet.
Finish up the whole Funhouse story.
Yeah, so Kate's ex-boyfriend, Marvel Boy's back. She don't like it, but tough titties. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, they're starting to kind of get their shit together. They've escaped from the bloody blah blah. Sin and Miss Sinister. Is this the one with Miss Sinister?
No, that would be
I'm reading
Dead Man Logan.
Yeah, golly.
Yeah, so we got, this evil West Coast Doom League tied up with all these heroes. Bishop Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, signs
Bishop.
to Hawkeye Clint to take out his earpiece. And they're able to find out that, oh, it's actually an annoying sound that's been dampening all their powers and giving them headaches and not letting them think. Well, she gives Clint back some of his gear. She blows all of them out of the prison. All the superheroes start to get their powers back. And we have a little bit of a fight between the villains and the superheroes. Well, the villains were finally able to break out. And everybody kind of has it coming together like, oh, well, we didn't get to finish them off, but our powers finally come back. Let's get the hell out of here. As they're about ready to leave, though, I think the most important part of this whole comic is that Gwenpool now has a...
Shark puppy!
Shark puppy.
Goddamn motherfucker shark puppy! That's why Gwenpool is the baddest bitch in comics.
His name is Jeff.
Jeff. Of
Oh
course.
my god.
Why the fuck wouldn't it be Jeff? Well,
Why wouldn't it?
Gabby's Wolverine is named Jonathan. Like, give me that comic. Give me Gwenpool, and I'm not. This is not my idea. I'm sorry. I'm stealing it from Twitter. I saw somebody post it on Twitter, and I was like, that's the most. Take all of my money right now. Gwenpool and Gabby, Jonathan and Jeff. Give me a fucking Wolverine, a shark puppy. I'm so excited. Honey Badger and Gwenpool. That's a fucking comic book, man. And
Maybe someday.
Give me 25 issues of it. And I'd be so excited. And Kelly Thompson can write it. Kelly Thompson
great.
and Tom Taylor. Bam. That's the duo of a lifetime. So yes, no, I'm still enjoying this story. It wasn't. There's really no info to be taken out of this other than the fact that we got a shark puppy.
Well, maybe there's some foreshadowing. How come the camera crew was miraculously not captured with them?
Well, because that's how TV works.
It's just magic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. Okay.
That's why we do podcasts. We're not wizards. Come on, Justin, get it together, buddy. Moving along.
It's just all so confusing.
Dead Man Logan. Number
This is
3.
the one with Miss Sinister.
This is the one. Ed Brisson, Mike Henderson, Nolan Woodward, cover by Declan Shelby. Alright, I am enjoying this even more again. So this book is ramping up. It's starting to make more sense. At first I was like, what the fuck? And now it makes more sense. So, Wolverine, under the illusion that Mysterio is creating, is fighting what he believes to be the Sinister Six, but is actually the Avengers. So we get an awesome fight between Iron Man and Old Man Logan.
Yep.
I said Wolverine, I mean Old Man Logan, my bad. He when he's fighting Captain America, he thinks he's fighting Taskmaster, which is the Shield. That makes sense. Who else? Oh, I love the moment where fucking She-Hulk comes into play on Ghost Rider, like Hulk, or what did she say? Hulk surf car, and then she goes in and takes him out. And
She's Lizard Man.
oh yeah, no, it's great. This is a fun, action-packed story. Meanwhile, it's released on the media, and Glob is like, dude, we can't have an X-Men versus Avengers again on account of Logan. Logan's a mutant. We can't have that. So they show up and they pretty much like detain him. And Captain America's like, you can't, but he's bad things, prison stuff. And they're like, but we'll take care of it. He's one of us. And
Yeah, we got this.
yeah, and they agree. Meanwhile, we get Sin and Miss Sinister revealing that they don't really trust Mysterio.
Right, we get Miss Sinister saying, this is child's play. You are wasting our one chance at this before we even have the backup of the real supervillains.
Right.
You're just a child. And she's like, oh, well, hold on, we're just having fun. I'm going to get more beer. Besides, we're just going to give Mysterio Alaska after all this. It'll be fine. Miss Sinister says, no, I think you're forgetting the part where your father killed Mysterio so he can never do this to us.
We gotta do the same.
Right.
And
then she walks off.
It's revealed
Well,
that Mysterio was
that was Mysterio.
illusionizing.
He's still paranoid. Yeah, he thinks everybody's out to kill him, and this time he's right.
Yeah, no, this is This wasn't a mind-bending story. I mean, what I mean by it's not. It was.
Well, it was mind bending in there.
Yeah. It was a well-told story. It was a one-time. I mean, like you can get it all in one read. You didn't have to go through and dissect every little panel to get information, which I enjoy most of the time out of a story, almost all the time.
Yep.
Because there's so many books to read. But I like it. It was an easy read. It was fun, and it just took a notch up with
Definitely. I'm
Logan
liking
fighting.
this.
The dialogue with Iron Man and everything, like I'm gonna try to take him to space if he doesn't rip my armor off and fur.
Right, we'll just try to suffocate him for a bit.
Yeah.
No, I like this. It's kind of old man Logan restarting, but different. I like it.
Ending.
True.
Ending. Yeah. Last Marvel book that I have to talk about this week is Marvel Knights number 6. Donny Cates, Kim Jacinto, Travel Foreman, Richard Friend, and Matt Miller. Covered by Jeff Shaw and Rain Barreto. I also picked up the variant, a variant. There were several variants for this one. So yeah, we get part 6 of 6 here. This is the end of the end. What do we say about this? I'm going to say that the takeaway out of all this, without going through and recapping this whole crazy fucked up story, is that Kingpin looks the best that he's ever looked in his life.
Sure. He's pretty jacked.
You see Kingpin with his shirt off and he ain't fat. We reveal that the team trying to help this whole machine debacle was actually the reason to begin with, because heroes are the reason bad things happen. Like I always say, you bring a hero into the mix, the villain's gonna show up. So that's why all this went down. Essentially, these motherfuckers are in like a matrix, so they go to like...
They were given a snapshot of what the future is like, maybe.
Yeah.
So they say, oh, well, this is obviously because of us, because we bring the supervillains. Let's just erase the villains and the heroes.
Right. And then they go to the machine to fix everything, and then they keep being told of this dragon. Turns out this dragon is Sentry.
Yeah.
And we finally get Sentry back. So, out of all of this, 6 issues, it's the reintroduction of Sentry back into the MCU in a relevant way.
Yeah, I guess. That's...
You get a cool fight with Banner taking him out, and that's how you know he's back, because Banner's just like... I will say that there is a really... I mean, there's nothing wrong with this story other than the fact that I don't think it went the way that either of us expected it to.
No.
It's not that... I don't like it. It's just that it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought this was a really fun, compelling story up until this one.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, hey, oh, and they kind of just blazed through the whole reasoning of all this without really giving you any actual details.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is a thing that happened. You guys have been here before. Don't worry about it. Oh, this time it's different. Because we have a Hulk.
I do like the moment where you get that confrontation with the Sentry, and Punisher's like, I'll fight you, Sentry. And Sentry's like, say, what?
No, you're going to listen to your own confessionals,
Right.
because this will turn you back. It has the last 7 times.
And then he shoots Banner in the fucking guts, and then he hulks out, and Banner takes him through the window, and that's the last you see of it. And you're like, oh shit, Sentry, okay. I wonder what Cates is going to do with that.
Right.
I have no idea. I have no fucking idea what Case is going to do. Because he obviously has a plan. You don't just, like, do something like that without a plan. That's the most exciting thing about this. Is that this is going to mean something. It didn't mean anything in this. I hate to say it. I'm not one to, like, bleh on shit. But, it's not what I expected. I didn't realize we were going to get some quasi-Matrix shit, is all.
Oh, I figured we were. I just was hoping for a little bit more, some more closure. Really?
Yeah, well, no, there was closure, I guess. It's, in the fight with Kingpin and his crew versus, what I'm just going to call the Marvel Knights was...
Yeah.
I liked it, and if it wasn't for Kingpin's depiction and his badassery with him taking out Doom in the 5th issue...
That was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that. Kingpin like easily took.
Well,
out
I mean,
Dr.
it
Doom.
shouldn't have gone
I
down
thought,
that way,
here's
but
the
it was
thing.
cool.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I was expecting out of this, is I thought they were gonna reveal that either that's not really Kingpin or that wasn't really Doom. That's not the case.
No.
Like, those were those people. I'm a Kingpin fucking fanboy like no other.
Sure.
Kingpin ain't fucking punching Doom in the
No,
back of the head.
he's not
one
Doom
time
status.
and
No,
fucking
no.
holding him up with one hand over the city and dropping him down into his death.
Right.
Not gonna happen. But I loved it.
Oh no, sure. I think it was fun for an event. Why not?
Well, that's what comic books are. It doesn't have to make fucking sense.
Nope.
No.
So if you don't have any other Marvel to talk about, I've got one last one.
Cool.
Of course, as you know, I'm a big fan of the Boy in Blue. I've been reading Captain America.
Oh, that Boy in Blue. There's
Yeah.
so many blue boys.
That's true. That's
There's
true.
the Tick.
So
I thought you were talking about the Tick. He's my favorite Boy in Blue.
I do like the Tick, but that's another story for another time. This week I read Captain America #7 by Tahiti Coates, Adam Kubert, Frank Martin. Pretty much the story is about a lot of different things. We start off with Celine Gallio talking to Baron Strucker. Strucker is now no longer running a Hydra organization. He is now running a prison, and Gallio is wondering if his prison is right to house Captain America. Captain America is now a wanted man. And then we cut to Steve Rogers and Sharon Carter talking to their legal team, and it's not looking good. His only alibi for not killing Theodore Ross, is that he was with his girlfriend, and all they have is her word, and he had prior anger at Ross, as so did she, and they don't really have any sound way out of this. That his best method is to turn himself in or use any other wild cards he may have.
What are some wild cards that he may have?
Well, we cut to Bucky at the bar with no name, beating up a bunch of people, asking him who killed Ross. Who killed Ross? But none of them seem to know anything. Even the Owl has this nice monologue saying, "You think you're the hero? Coming in here beating us up? Well, you're not the hero. You're just another villain whose friend is in danger. Well, we don't know anything." So, it's not looking good. Steve Rogers says, "Well, we don't have anything, so I'm going to turn myself in."
These are some cool action sequences.
They
I'm
are.
not going to lie, man. Kubert does a good job with this. I don't know who this Owl character is, but I want to see him in stuff that's not Captain America, because even though he's obviously like a B character, being that I never heard of him,
He's another villain.
I don't know. He just kind of now that Sabretooth isn't a thing, I kind of want him to replace Sabretooth. And be
Fair.
the new thing. I don't know. He just looks cool is all. I don't know.
Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
you're
but I
fine.
was admiring this.
Yeah, no,
I like
lots to
Kubert's
admire.
art a lot, and that was a cool action sequence. I am
Yeah.
not subscribed to this book because of the lack of action, from what I've
Yeah,
seen.
it's more of a drama for sure. There's
But
some action. It's
Anytime
comic,
you're in the
but
bar with no name, though, there's always some fun
of course,
shit going on.
there's always somebody, a hero beating up a villain.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Sorry, man, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So Sharon and Steve Rogers fight a little bit. Steve says, "No, I need to turn myself in." And she's like, "Well, fine. If you feel like you need to turn yourself in, I'll support you. But you're not turning in the shield. It's a symbol." And he says, "No, I would believe not. In fact, I'm counting on it." And he hands her the shield. So Sharon is holding on to the shield. We cut to Nick Fury interrogating Steve Rogers. "Steve, where is the shield? You didn't misplace it. We know you didn't." "Yeah, sure I did." "Well, then where is it?" "Oh, I don't know. You're just going to have to find it, I guess." And so he's taken to prison. Well, the comic ends with Sharon sneaking through subways, going to some secret lair, and saying that she needs extra help from these ancient serpents, or she's quoting an old ancient proverb, and she summons help. And this help is a new team called the Daughters of Liberty.
Oh, dude.
We got some cool characters in here. We've got Miss Spider-Man. We've got Invisible Woman. We've got White Tiger. We've got Misty Knight, Mockingbird. We've got Annabelle Riggs, and we've got Echo. And
I dig
that's
it.
where it ends off.
I dig it a lot.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm gonna start paying a little bit more attention when you talk about Captain Marvel.
I mean,
That was very cool.
it's not. I don't think it's a Brian Lee kind of book. It's not a lot of actions and zip pow wham, but There's some good drama going on, and I think they're definitely setting up a lot of Marvel.
Here's the thing, though, is like that female team at the end. I am very intrigued by. I've always liked Misty Knight. Now that Invisible Woman is relevant again, that's
Sure,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I like this team quite a bit. What was her name? White Tiger.
White Tiger. Yep.
Yeah, she looks like she's ready to rip some face off. Like I said, I'll be paying a little bit more attention now. I don't think I could add it to my list, but yeah, no, this issue seems fun for sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
You got any more comics to talk about?
Not necessarily as far as like an overview goes, but there were a few other books that came out this week. Normally when Amazing Spider-Man comes out, I'm all over that shit. There was number 14, or 815. Here's the thing about this book, is it takes place after the event of a book that doesn't come out for at least 2 more weeks. So I didn't read it. I will after Miles Morales number 3 comes out, but it says in the very beginning that this takes place after these events. So I'll have to wait to read this one. It doesn't get filed away with the rest.
Okay.
Also, Man Without Fear wrapped up that 5-part issue. It's really just confirming that Daredevil is still a thing.
He was broken, but he's not dead.
Yep.
Now he's back.
Yep, escape from the hospital, and he's out daredeviling. Next week we'll talk about that later, because Daredevil's coming or rebooting. Weapon H number 12 ended. So this is the end of this.
Got canceled.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. It ended with them all getting out of Weird World or whatever, and it's setting up the Hulkverine's story that has been solicited.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's not going to be the 3 of them teaming up against stuff. It's going to be Wolverine in the Hulk-verse. Weapon H, or Clay is his name. Hey, I remembered. So, that's something to look forward to for sure. And this was an info drop type of thing. I thought I was all caught up on Spawn. I got 2 more to read but we're at 293 right now. McFarlane and Jason Shawn Alexander. This particular book, we get from the solicitations. I'm told we get the first appearance of Godsend, which we've been teased that, from what I've been reading, Spawn is getting new powers and all this, and realize that a Godsend. You like how I fast forward to that? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 35 from Boom Studios. Marguerite Bennett, French. Oh God, let me try this. Carlo Magno, Francesco Mortarino, Eleonora Bruni, and Walter Baiamonte. Look at that team of Italians. So this is more Beyond the Grid stuff. These are the Mighty Morphin stories between the 2 Power Ranger stories. These are not your Zack and Kimberly and whatever. These are all the other alternate universe ones. And this book is an origin story of a character whose name I cannot remember. But it is technically a key issue, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has been... Marguerite Bennett's doing a good job. Considering that I hate to say I grew out of Power Rangers before all these other new Power Rangers came out, but
sure, me too.
That's technically what did happen. When they started diverting to all these other new universes, I couldn't have friends and have Power Rangers at the same time in my neighborhood. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, so yeah, I had to make a decision. So therefore, I'm not totally up to par on what the fuck all these characters do, all
Fair
that
enough.
shit, the Time Rangers, all that stuff.
You're more of a go-go guy.
I'm a go-go guy for sure. Definitely a go-go guy. And the last book that I didn't talk about was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 9. Said it before. This is 9 of 30. It's the retelling of Volume 3, only in color, and eventually to be finished after it was...
cut too short.
Cut too short, yes. So, I guess we can move on to wall books. And I don't think we have to describe it at this point, because after 16 episodes, you're all long-time listeners. So, we got one book that makes it twice on the list this week, and that's Spawn. I got all the variants for Spawn. Besides the beautiful Matina cover, For cover A, there were 2 variants. There was both of them McFarlane. One of them being the Virgin color, which is amazing. Another one being a black and white. Now, there's something special about this black and white copy. It was meant to be printed all throughout in black and white. See?
Okay.
But there's some problems. There's some pages that accidentally got printed in color.
Huh.
So this is actually a misprinted book. I was able to get it before it was pulled. And I guess Image decided they weren't going to recall it, but from what I understand, there's a few retailers that recalled it or pulled it for whatever reason. I don't know. I could be misinformed on that. But nevertheless, it's a misprinted book. This is not how it was supposed to be. So, somewhat of a key issue, I guess. But it's fucking Spawn, bitches, and this Virgin's going right on the wall.
Awesome.
Another book was the final piece of the connecting variant to the Marvel Knights.
Right.
This one has Hulk's big old fucking ugly mug, all done by Kara Andrews. This whole 6-issue series, for whatever reason.
Connecting piece.
Yeah, I'm missing number 5 on account of Christmas and all of that. So I gotta eBay to find issue number 5, unless one of you nerds want to be super fucking nice and
Let me check my LCS.
DM me
I'll see if
on
they have one.
Twitter and send it to me for free. The last book was actually an Art Germ variant. Normally, we're done with Josh Middleton doing the Batgirl variants. He's done a brilliant job. I think he did like 7 or 8 variants. It's been fucking awesome. All of them are on the wall. Art Germ did this variant, and it is fucking gorgeous. It's just,
As always,
oh
man,
my god.
oh man.
I don't usually, like I said, I'm not the Art Germ fanboy, though a lot of people are. But I really, really like that Batgirl cover.
I haven't seen anything I don't like so far.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fucking good, man. It's,
Astounding.
yeah. But that's all I'm going to be hanging on the wall. Makes up for the 0 that I had last week. They can't
Sure.
all be zingers. But, so what was your favorite artist of the week as far as interiors?
Clayman. Heroes in Crisis, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really, really, really good. I'm gonna have to go with Krasinski and Punisher myself.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Fucking amazing. What about Story?
I'm gonna have to give it to Heroes in Crisis. Just overall,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a small event. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I am sold. I am brainwashed. I love it.
It's pretty amazing. You know, I had to think really long and hard about what my favorite book was. I liked Fight Club a lot. Rick and Morty was a great end to the whole thing.
That was a good one.
Like, even reading just 4 issues, like, I had no problem recalling the first 3, so I felt like just reading that first issue, I was reading all of them at once, which I really enjoyed. That's great writing. That's great storytelling. Fucking, Jim Zub and, what's his name? Well, starts with an R. I remember that much. Sorry. Rossfuss. There we go. Yeah, no, I loved it. Thought about that one. Action Comics really pulled me in.
Now you're just listening to all the ones we've read this week.
It just goes to, there was some heavy stuff. It was really good, but Batman Beyond takes it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good choice.
No, it was good stuff. I love it. Batman Beyond was great. It sets up some amazing stuff. But yeah. My cover of the week is gonna have to go to the McFarlane Spawn. I like McFarlane on my wall, and this is gonna look super pretty. My cover is definitely Spawn. What was it? 293. What about yours?
Still, I'm going to have to give it to Heroes in Crisis. That Superman this week
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah. No,
Very well done.
It is a great cover.
Mhm.
It is a great
I
cover.
love it.
For sure. Mason, did you have any covers that you've seen that really stood out to you? I know you kind of like the Batman Beyond 90s, whatever.
Yeah, definitely like the Batman Beyond just because of the 90s aesthetic, but I'm also a fanboy for anything McFarlane produces.
Yeah, that Spawn cover is pretty fucking amazing, right?
Yeah.
Ain't it pretty?
Well, and it's also, having seen him draw, I know that's not even him flexing.
Oh, no.
Having seen the speed at which he can sketch things out, just offhand, that's nothing for him.
No, it's brilliant. I don't recall who colored this particular cover. He did not color this, I will say that, and hang me for forgetting, but it's colored very beautifully as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you want to see?
I do want to see.
It's pretty good.
I think it's actually, aside from
It's well done.
how bright, not even bright, like the cape, I want to say the cape was actually brighter in the original older Spawns, but that's very much a, like, I want to say, like, between Spawn issue 1 and 20, like how the cover poses were.
Yeah. Well, my top two are actually both Spawn, because the Francesco Mattina Spawn, like the non-variant, that's by far the best Mattina Spawn cover that he's put out so far. But I'm sorry, when McFarlane gets in the ring with anyone, I think he's just like Mike Tyson. He's just an automatic. He's the favorite every time. If he doesn't knock you out, he's gonna bite your fucking ear off, because he's always gonna win. He's always gonna win. So when there's a McFarlane cover, go fuck yourself. He's the winner. I'm sorry. Tina, you're my boy. McFarlane, you're God. So, bam.
Some high praise.
Well, you know it, buddy. Let's get into what we will be talking about on the next podcast, eh?
Potentially.
Let's do that. I plan on talking about BPRD and The Devil You Know, number 13.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Mignola, Scott Ollie, and Lawrence Campbell. I have not read the first 12 issues of this. I realized that BPRD 1956 is a mini-series, and I was like, I wanted to get into a long Hellboy run. So I was like, you know what, I've only got a couple more issues of that, but in the meantime, before I miss out, I'm going to jump on what's happening with Mike Mignola's current ongoing Hellboy. So, excited about that. That's coming from Dark Horse. From what I understand, it's going to be a pretty light week. So, your wallets will be thanking ya. Batman number 64. This is the Price Part 1. It ties into the Heroes in Crisis. This is one of the three issues that Tom King is not writing.
Right.
This is being written by Joshua Williamson, who's writing The Flash. So there's going to be 3 issues of Flash and 3 issues of Batman, all tying together. Why isn't Tom King writing Batman? They dropped him. I knew it. Fucking the wedding fucked him. No, he had secret TV meetings that he's not allowed to talk about, so he had to sign it over to someone. Meanwhile, it makes sense considering it's a Heroes in Crisis. Well, Joshua Williamson writing Flash and, you know, that being the tie-in. I would have liked to have seen Tom King just, like, man the entire reins of Heroes in Crisis. But I find it very humble of him to be like, no, you take this, you got it, it's cool. So,
sure.
Shout out to Joshua Williamson for, at least flexing enough to get Tom King to be like, that's my guy.
I'm interested to see how these 2 awesome titles I love coincide.
Yeah. Deathstroke number 40 is hitting the shelves. Christopher Priest, Fernando Parasan, and Jason Paez. Not reading Deathstroke, but that variant cover is super fucking 70s, and I love it.
It is.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to read Deathstroke. Green Lantern number 4. You better believe I'm reading Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp's book. Liam Sharp's one of my favorite artists. I'm beginning to
For good reason.
Yeah. Harley Quinn number 58. Sam Humphries and John Timms. I have a feeling that the variant for this, what's his name? Derek Chu. I have a feeling this variant is going to be super hot. Even on Midtown, they're actually limiting 1 per customer, so I ordered 3. Because my LCS is better. I said it. Mile High Comics, what? Justice League number 17, Scott Snyder, Jim Chung, and Mark Morales. So right after the annual, we get, boom, no waiting. We're going to figure out what this source is about. Yeah, I'm all about it, man. I'm excited. Young Justice number 2, Brian Michael Bendis and Patrick Gleason. I decided to skip Young Justice after hearing the solicits saying that it's going to be more directed towards the teen audience. On account of that's not me, I'm just going to have faith that it's a good issue, just not for me.
Fair enough.
This next book, you're obligated to. Whether or not we'll be talking about it, we don't know, because the series is strange.
I've been reading Dreaming. Number 6 out by Salmon Superior and Bilquis Evely.
Yeah, man. I'm liking Lucifer. I'm not reading the other books in here. Like I said, we're not necessarily talking about this, but off mic, I'm curious to get your input on it.
We both missed out on Sandman, and we both are kicking ourselves for it. So we're both dipping into a part of the universe, just try and get a taste.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Dynamite's putting out a #1. We get the 8th volume of Red Sonja, Mark Russell and Miko Kolak. On account of it's a small week, I am possibly going to check it out. We'll see. I've always been curious with Red Sonja, especially now that Conan's kind of being a thing again, so you never know.
Maybe.
But, yeah, no, I might. You never know. We'll find out. Or you won't. Let's move on to Marvel. So we're getting our Marvelous X-Men, the first of the whole Age of X-Men tie-ins. This one is Lonnie Nadler, Zach Thompson, and Marco Faella. Lonnie Nadler is also the one who wrote Age of X-Men that we read, Alpha, that we read, or told you about earlier. I hate to say review, because we're not really reviewing it so much, it's just telling you what the fuck's happening.
More of a conversative piece.
Yeah, for sure. As Guardians of the Galaxy #6, Colin Bunn and Matteo Buffini. This is trickling into what the War of the Realms will become in April. It's a fun story. It's a crazy team. It's just info dumps for the most part. We'll see. I like when Beta Ray Bill does stuff, and Throg's pretty cool. Are you reading Champions now that they've rebooted again?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it another one. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you read the first one?
I believe I did. I believe I did, yes.
Yeah? Alright, well, we got #2 this week, Jim Zub and Stephen Cummings. Hey, remember we talked about Jim Zub when he did that badass Rick and Morty book?
Right.
Fuck, I almost missed Avengers #14, Jason Aaron and David Marquez. We're gonna get some vampires and some Blade and some fucking stabbing and some fucking, hopefully we get some Morbius and motherfucking Dark Shadow Lord, Colonel, General, Army Leader. This book.
And then some.
I'm gonna go ahead and just like skip to it and say this is my most anticipated book of the week. By fucking far. Blade.
Me too.
Blade. Enough said. I love it. Conan the Barbarian, #3, Jason Aaron and Muhammad Arsar.
Are you reading Conan?
I read the first one. For whatever reason, I missed the second one. I think it was just a heavy week, and I couldn't get to it.
Fair.
But I am subscribed. It's on my pull list, and on account of I know he's going to be an Avenger in this War of the Realms.
Yeah.
God, there's a lot to talk
read
about.
#3. I want to talk about this one with you. I liked 2. I mean, it wasn't like anything we have to talk about story-wise so far that I know of. But
I will read it.
fun.
Whether or not it's relevant to the War of the Realms, I'm not sure. I hope they tie some stuff in. We'll see. But I'm going to go back and read 2 beforehand.
I think they will.
Marvel's also putting out a #1. We get Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto, and, Chip Zdarsky. Marco Cicchetto was my artist of the year last year. So imagine my excitement for this book. We get a Daredevil reboot with my interior artist of the year for 2018. Zdarsky ain't no chump when it comes to writing
one
books
of your
either.
favorite heroes, one of your favorite artists.
Yeah, man. He wasn't always one of my favorite heroes. He's recently become a favorite hero of mine after Charles Soule's run of Daredevil. I liked that he gets hit by a bus. I liked it. That's how they take him out. That's cool. That's humbling. Alright, and there's so many beautiful fucking covers. I'm really hoping to get my hands on the hidden gem. There is a hidden virgin gem out there that's not really supposed to be solicited. So, as you're digging through the books and you see something that doesn't look quite right, pick it up, because it's pretty. Alright, what else is Marvel putting out? Oh, fucking Immortal Hulk #13, Al Ewing, Joe Bennett. Are we going to confirm the One Below All? I'm asking you, because you know everything.
Yes, we definitely are. Confirmed.
Good. Confirmed. Can confirm. Old Man Quill #1, Ethan Sachs and Robert Gill.
I'm looking forward to this one.
You goddamn right are looking forward to this one. So fun. I really liked Ethan Sachs' Old Man Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. It was on the top 5 of my favorite stories of the year for sure.
But Quill, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and are we gonna see some Hawkeye? Are we gonna see some fucking Matt Murdock, Old Man Murdock?
I don't know.
I would hope so. Uncanny X-Men continues with number 11. So like they're gonna continue to tell this story while the other mini stories are being produced. So I'm very curious as to how they do that. Matthew Rosenberg ain't no chump though. Salvador LaRocca, John McCrea, and Juanan Ramirez continue on, and I'm still fully subscribed to Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, I'm gonna see.
Cyclops is a thing.
I'm curious how they're gonna continue the story.
I want to see Wolverine in action here on the next issue or two. You never know. We also get X-23 number 9, Mariko Tamaki and Diego Olortegui. I love this title so much. Mariko Tamaki's done a good job taking the reins from Tom Taylor writing Laura and Honey Badger, and it's been nothing short of fucking spectacular. Do we have any other... I don't think we have any other indies to talk about. Like I said, it's kind of a small week. I'm sure we missed something, but like I said, by no means did we mention every book hitting the shelves. It's just the stuff that are on our pull list that jumps out to us, stuff that we're subscribed to, stuff that maybe we're not subscribed to that a lot of other people are, that we got to remind them that their shit's coming out. So, the idea is what it is. What's your most anticipated book of the week? Hold on. I'm going to Johnny Carson this and hold an envelope up to my head. Old Man Quill you were very excited about.
I am very excited about Old Man Quill.
Yeah, see, I got you.
I think that one is my most anticipated, just because I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But Avengers, I know is going to be exciting. I know I'm going to have a great time reading that one.
War of the Vampires, buddy.
I mean, there's so much happening now.
Mason, what are you excited to hear us talk about next week if you're not sitting in? Out of all those books, I know there's something.
Out of all those books, I really want to see more of the Batman Beyond.
Well, that won't be next week.
But as far as the books that we just listed off, like the stuff that's coming out next week.
Oh, Old Man Quill.
Yeah. Oh, it was you. Sorry, I directed my psychic powers in the wrong direction. I apologize. It was Mason.
You got to work on that tinfoil antenna.
God damn. I'm rusty, guys. I'm rusty, boys. Is there any other final thoughts? Oh, I got a couple of final thoughts. I finally made my ass to the movies. I did. I made my ass to the movies.
And what'd you see?
I saw Aquaman.
How is it?
It's incredible.
Good?
And I don't mean that, and I'm not no. Good, no. It's DC's best movie.
Yeah?
It is.
Great.
And
That's a low bar.
Yeah.
But the fact is the bar has been raised.
Okay.
That's the fact. Is Jason Momoa's performance the performance? No, I can honestly say that anybody could have been Aquaman because how well the character was written. Jason Momoa did just fine. I think subconsciously there's like 50 other parts I think he could be better for. But with that being said, Mira was perfect. Black Manta is an incredible fucking villain. Orm was beautifully portrayed. William Dafoe's character, I can't remember his character's name, was fucking awesome. I thought we were just going to get like 5 minutes of screen time from Willem Dafoe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, buddy. He the man. He the motherfucking man. So yes, if you're a Marvel fanboy and you're reluctant, go spend a few bucks, man, and go see it. It really is worth seeing. It's visually stunning. It's not oversaturated with campy, comedic whatever, even though it does have its fun moments. There's an octopus playing war drums. Yeah, deal with it.
Nice.
But they don't focus
Underwater.
on it. They don't focus on it. It's like a second and a half, but you notice it and you're like, that's... You either hate it or you love it. There's moments like that, but for the most part, I loved it. The other movie I saw, I'm being a huge Freddie Mercury fan, I'm disappointed I didn't see it. It's Bohemian Rhapsody. It's everything you would hope it would be. It's, fucking... If you don't care about the story, then just fast forward to the last 20 minutes and watch that Rami Malek give the fucking performance of his life.
Yeah?
It was awesome, man. It is.
This is one I do definitely expect to sit down and enjoy that one of these nights.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, like, normally my final thoughts are, like, shitting on nerds for being shitty nerds. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, don't listen to any bad critics. Like, if you're a Bryan Singer hater, just forget that he directed that movie. Go fucking see it. You know, he's already buried himself. Is whatever's done.
Well,
If he has buried himself.
I'm really one of the guys who's a fan of Rami Malek, anyways. After Mr. Robot.
Yeah, you recommended that to me earlier before we started recording. I'm gonna have to check it out now. I've never seen this guy before, but goddamn, was he good in this? He was. And to the both of you, go see those movies, especially. I can't say especially. They're both equally amazing in their own ways. But yeah, no, it's
Cool. Glad to hear it.
for sure. All right, you fuckers. Do you have anything?
Just check out our Patreon, our Twitter, our YouTube. You know how to find us.
Patreon helps us, like advance.
Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Y'all know how it goes.
Have a great week. We'll talk at you next week.
Yeah.
Nerd responsibly.
Geek responsibly.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.